to Change Ed.
Changed.
A podcast on the road today at a new fun location, which we'll get to in a minute. I am your host, Andrew Kuhn, education consultant from Montgomery County Intermediate Unit, and here with me,
Patrice Savicek, also an educational consultant from the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit. I thought we were doing away with titles.
Yeah, it's okay. And Tony Marabito, SDF, from Carbon Lehigh Intermediate Unit.
Sticking.
Well, it's education. We love our acronyms, so we have to make SDF in some sort of acronym.
Staff Development Facilitator. I'm just tired of
saying it every time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
I think everyone knows we do our job. We do.
Tony, we are in your neck of the woods. Neckish, yeah. Neckish of the woods.
We are next door. So our great partners at Colonial IU, I'd like to introduce Dr. Susan Candianis and Miss Christine Lightgeb.
Hello, I'm glad to be here.
We are here at the Junior Tech Leader Showcase. I'll let Andrew.
Cool.
I know Andrew wants to take over, so it's all yours.
Very cool.
You're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I said all the words. Now it's Andrew's turn again.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for inviting the show up here. Can you please tell us more about this Junior Technology Leaders Experience, the showcase, because there are a lot of people out there. There's a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. So help our listeners to actually feel that excitement. What's going on? Why are we here? Why are we in this space?
Thank you. Well, and you are right about the excitement. We saw right after lunch, after we sent the students over to their presentations, they were hopping, skipping, jumping. I mean, you can just see the excitement level just went up 10 notches. But we are excited as well. This is our second Junior Technology Leader Showcase. Last year was the first one, and we just thought we would try it because we had such an awesome group of students. Now, the students, we're CIU 20 region, so we service Northampton, Pike, and Monroe counties. And our students come from the 13 districts and schools within our catchment. And actually, a personal goal is to get a new district on board every year. We do have half of our districts that attend the event.
Hint, hint.
So to back up just a little bit, the program started in 2017, and it really was born out of a passion for teaching and learning, and it is a team effort between our curriculum departments and our technology department. Everybody, I mean, it's just such teamwork to make this day happen. We actually have 5 scheduled days during the school year, and the last session is today, and that is the showcase. The showcase was such a hit last year. This is our second one, and we invite parents and district administrators, and our number is much higher this year. I think we have 60 guests out there right now. So we're like, do we have enough cake? That was the whole, let me tell you, because we're like, and then we celebrate, because, right, it's celebrate your successes and celebrate your achievements, celebrate your learning. And as we're over here, we're like wondering if there's enough cake over there. But Christine and I have been co-planning the program since it started. And as I said, we're both former classroom teachers. And, as we were learning all these new technology tools to offer our professional development sessions, we're like, wouldn't it be awesome if we had our own class? That's where it's at.
Yeah.
Right? And nothing shows you how a tool works more than rolling it out in front of 75 kids.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
So,
really is.
yeah, and so that's how it started. And then again, I can't stress enough the teamwork throughout our departments to make it happen. And then what happened was we learned early on advisors did not want to come back the next year for the same
Topics.
Yes.
Same types of technology, same projects.
Yes.
The point is to grow the capacity back in the district. So
Right.
we're giving them the tools and the know-how, and they're taking it back and hopefully growing that technology in their districts.
Yes, and Christine is the motivator. She is like always moving on to something new. I mean, I don't want what? And so feedback is very important. So every year we do send out a survey to advisors and to students. We need their feedback. We need to know what worked, what didn't work, what are you hoping for next year. And again, we just did that today since it's our last session this year. When we first started the program, there was a registration fee. But, at that time, 7 years ago, we didn't have the resources yet. We were still building our library. And now, I like to call it growing pains because we do have a lot more in our library, but it's also, we need to learn everything. We work to integrate everything. We've just got done labeling many of our devices, but it's all good. And we're rolling out the program for next year. And actually, our students are also speaking at our summer administrative workshop next month. It is a different way to offer professional development back at your schools. And so they're back at their schools growing it, but it looks different in each district, which is really awesome. And so when they present at our summer administrative workshop next month, I'll have students there from different districts. And although they're all part of the same program, Junior Tech Leaders, what they're doing is different. And it depends on schedules, time, opportunity. One group of our Junior Tech Leaders presents at a graduate level cohort class that takes place at the school. Now, we didn't have the opportunity this year, but last year our students actually went to ISTE in Philadelphia.
Wow.
They presented. Yeah, we were at Kalahari last year. It was in our catchment, so they presented there. They presented at the IU 20 board meeting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we call it a stretch activity. We always try to offer some sort of
such a good life skill
Yeah,
to get
for
kids
sure.
involved in
Right?
like presenting and being in charge of stuff. Can you guys walk me through? You said there was 5 days leading up to today. What are you guys doing and what are they doing in those 5 days leading up to today?
The first session is always a get to know you. So we'll do various getting to know them. And also them getting to know each other is a big thing. So like trying to cross the districts so that they have the opportunity to speak with children from other districts as well. That's pretty much like our whole first day. They come in, we'll do like a breakout, and then we assign them to different breakout kits. So they're working with other individuals. They're learning those problem solving strategies, those communication skills. Really interesting because the satellite students that you have in Easton, which you've grown, they actually came in person today. So the job was to kind of get them to intermingle. And as she said, there were a couple of students that don't say boo for her, but they were really like open
Came
out of their
alive
shell
today.
and talking to everybody. It was really amazing just to see the connections the kids make in that short amount of time. So that's really what the first day is about. And then each day after that there's a common thread. Like this year we kind of worked on project learning and trying to get them to have a piece of technology, but then how do I integrate that? How do I use it outside of here? So we had Code Joy come in. They did a couple of virtual lessons for us. We did a Finch one day. We did a
Winter Wonderland for the holiday theme. They had to design an animal that would set up the background of Winter Wonderland. So they used the microbit, the hummingbird, and servo motors, and all kinds of that white fluff. White fluff everywhere.
Everywhere, I'm sure. Yeah.
But it was awesome. Right?
We did petting zoo before as well. We did servo motors with our microbits. We're really centered a lot around the microbit the last 2 years. The
So
version
when
1 and 2.
when they join your, I'm going to call it a cohort. What do you guys call it?
Right.
Is that you call it a cohort?
I would say so.
So when they join your program, do the schools, as part of joining the program, do the schools go with the tool? They get tools that they take back with them. So that's all part of your program.
Yeah, in one case we did because we had grant funds to purchase, so microbits. So and they go to the teacher and they go back to their classroom.
That's fabulous.
Last year they got
Yes.
a group size microbit kits, and now this year they got group size microbits as well. So it's four, sometimes 5 to a team, it depends.
Yep.
And they got to take microbits with them back to the district, and also a hummingbird kit this year.
That's
And
fantastic.
then because again we're back to it's also to help districts build capacity.
Right. That's what was my
And grow.
question. Like,
Yeah.
if they're here and they're having all these awesome experiences with tools, but then don't have the tools back in their district, it makes it really hard to
And we
transfer.
also have the IMS library, which has grown huge.
So they can borrow from
They
you
can
too.
borrow. Yep. So everything we're using is available in the IMS library
That's
for them
fantastic.
to then borrow. Yep,
And
that's
it's so
kinda cool.
funny you mentioned that. I got to tell you. And then, prior to the showcase, we do class visits. We go out and have the students practice their presentation. Well, the one group didn't have something was wrong with the microbit, but I said, do you have any other microbits here? And she goes back in the closet, digs out a box, and she goes, you see this? And she's like, this is from the first year we went to Junior Tech Leaders. Like she had the old version.
Old version.
But do you see how valuable
Yeah.
that was?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was their resource.
That's
So
huge.
we work to help them build capacity as well.
I love the sustained learning. I think that's huge. Like at RU, we have this competition called Dream It, Design It, where it's project based. They don't have any tools. They don't know what the project is when they come in. They solve the problem, and then they present it at the end of the day, and they use basically classroom supplies. But what I like that you guys are doing that's different and above and beyond is adding in the tech piece. So now you're pulling in the tech and the engineering, which I think is something that we all could do a better job of. And I love how it's sustained. Ours is 1 day. I like how it's 5 days and it's continued all year long. I love that.
I think the goal is that the kids then choose what they're passionate about,
Yeah.
what they like, and then that's what they're doing the presentations on, and that's what they're teaching back at their school. So it's definitely a passion project for them then
Yeah.
too. You can really tell.
How are students, sorry guys, I'm taking
okay.
over. How are students and teachers chosen for the program?
And what grade levels are involved?
Okay, it's grades 4 to 7, and that has grown as well. We started off grades 4 to 6, but it's almost, that's why I did this timeline, because people were asking about it, and I'm like, you know what, it's interesting. Every year, it grows just a little bit. So like we've grown from up to 4 to 7. We've grown to add a showcase. Next year, we're growing, and we're going to add a 6th day.
Okay.
And what happens is the registration call goes out to our district curriculum coordinators, and then each district can send one team, is guaranteed a seat at a team, no cost. We try to get around the barriers that are out there, and we understand, there's the barrier of not having the device or getting here, transportation, and so we try as best we can to break down as many barriers as we can. So the call goes out to district coordinators, curriculum coordinators, and from there it's up to them. The district will send forth a computer-minded teacher or a coach, and then from there, then the advisor will select the students. Now that's another interesting thing that has changed over the years, because now as it caught on, like so many kids want to go. And so now they've had to change their process for bringing on the kids. Like I think one had them write essays.
Yeah, they wrote
That's a skill in and of itself, too.
Right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So like your vision is coming to fruition. You're
really on
seeing
its
it
own. It's
be
growing
sustainable.
naturally. It's
Oh my
pretty cool.
gosh,
Yeah, it's
what
really
a
cool.
fulfilling.
Yeah.
Like, it's so exciting. You can see how passionate you guys are. It's so fun.
Yeah, so then, advisors are like, can we bring another teacher? Can I bring my colleague? We're like, of course. So then the one day we're putting out the snacks, we're like, oh my, do we have enough snacks?
It's always about the food.
Yeah, cake, snacks.
Food is
Do we have
number one.
enough?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to get cookies.
I
Like,
know.
there's not enough cake.
I know. As
Like-
someone who runs student events, like you got to have
You
enough
do.
food.
Food, right.
You always
You
have
do.
too much salad and
Yes.
not enough of the dessert.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Or
so
garlic knots in our area. It's the garlic knots that everyone wants.
One of the resounding themes for me that is coming out of this whole conversation is comparing the journey to the destination. And you all have set this up where this journey is incredible for these students, this year-long journey, but also that then they're almost like rest stops along the way where you kind of stop, you check in, and then we continue on. And what I think is incredible about that is I'm looking at your history of the junior technology leaders is that it started before COVID, and so many things that started before COVID cease to exist anymore. While it was an unexpected rest stop that you hit in 2020, on here is you had it as a gap year, but then you bounced back in a virtual fashion, and now hearing you talk about it, it's still growing. So what did that part of the journey look like for you to hit this, what could have been a showstopper, but then you were able to pivot and adjust, which I know, I'm not taking that away from anyone, because we all try to pivot and adjust, but you were able to, with this group in a way that you were able to bounce back bigger and stronger and keep growing. So what did that part look like?
Well, I have an awesome colleague here, and I just think it comes down to it. Deep down, it's just that passion for teaching and learning and bringing the students here to teach them how to integrate the tools. I mean, you can't
advisors-
put that away. You can't put your passion away.
And the advisors were just as passionate too. So
They
the
were.
ones that came virtually, we still have them out there.
That's
They're still
awesome.
with us
Yes,
on the ride. So
that is yes.
Yeah.
Our advisors have grown over the years. I mean, like they are now active. Like we're like, we need you to do this part, and they are like actively helping along with the lessons as well.
That's fantastic.
we have
So-
one that filled out like even the feedback boxes we had the kids do. She filled everything out, and you could see her excitement for next. She's the one that's always approaching us like, what are we doing next year? What do I have to do? Like, what do I need to learn? What do I need to do this? She's awesome. She's amazing.
And,
But
we tried the virtual. The virtual, it was a smaller group, but
a little more trying. It
Yes.
definitely was
Yes.
trying to find and keep them engaged.
Yeah.
We didn't want to keep them online for
Right.
they're here all day. So
Right.
from 9 to 2, it's a
Yeah.
long day for kids. We didn't want to do that online. I think we were half day, only a couple hours. So we would give them
the resources.
the resources, and then we had a folder prepared for them, things to refer to, and how to get through the projects. They were awesome.
And when you talk about things that came back after COVID and those things that didn't come back, what I have found in my little world here is things that involved students and student events and opportunities for students to get out. Those came back.
With a vengeance. I
Yes,
feel like they've
yes.
like really exploded.
Yeah, we're going for it.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
for you.
I think another component, certainly for the two of you, and I got to say, I've enjoyed listening to the two of you talk, but even the way that you interact, you can tell that you're a really strong team. You work well together. So that part is
We try
not
not to
something.
dress alike.
Yeah.
I'll show you pictures. Our
I mean-
first day of junior tech leaders, we literally showed up in the same outfit.
No,
same
there are
shoes,
days where we're
everything.
wearing the same color, and I'm like, I swear we did not match.
did not plan this.
Promise
No, we had the
you.
same shirt,
It actually
pants, and shoes. It
Makes
was
me
hilarious.
a little angry. I'm like, no, I wanted to wear got red.
So that was one thing that just doesn't translate onto a podcast, and I was like, we need to say that because even the way you just eloquently work together and support each other, just even in this conversation. But the other part that I think is really significant is your attention to detail. So I know we were talking about cake, and then we were talking about snacks, but then you even equated it to talking about how much time do we want them to be online. This is supposed to be something that's interactive. So your intentional thought process and your ability to pivot when something's not working. Okay, let's pivot over here. Let's move it. We don't want to lose who we are in the process, but we can shift so it's a better experience for everyone, and we're focused on the outcome and what we're trying to achieve. So I think that's a very big part of this, and in no small part why it's been able to grow, because we want it to be a good experience for everyone. So what about the teachers that are coming? What about the parents? What about the students that are involved as well?
You mentioned satellite. So you have satellite schools that participate as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so and that grew actually out of a different initiative. It was a personalized learning initiative that we offered pre-COVID. She was like, well, you know what, can you just do junior tech leaders here? It's like, okay, it was part of that service package. It started, and it's just they ask for it every year now, and it actually works very well because the school is like right around the corner. Doesn't require a lot of travel. And the other reason for that is at the time our program started off on Chromebooks, and they are on the iPads. So that was another reason we directed them a little differently. We worked on some iPad specific type of apps they were working on, and again it just stuck. But like over the years now, a lot of our resources we use now are cross-platform. And actually it's so funny you bring that up, because that class is here today, and he just said, the teacher advisor just said, do you think we can just change it up and we'll just come here next year?
But what a great way to get involved if transportation is that barrier. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
It made me think of the TED Talk, and then they have the TED Talk X. So is this Junior Technology Leaders X when you're off satellite? That's right. So
Hey, well, we'll think about it.
middle of the royalties.
Branding.
Because of the mini riot that's starting outside the door, because the popularity of the
Make sure there's
podcast.
more cake cut.
Yeah, yes.
I'm not wearing enough, so
See, I think you're right. It's actually probably the cake. It's not the podcast. They
That's
want the
definitely
cake.
Yeah.
I have children of my own. I know how it is.
We're gonna wrap up the podcast and bring it back together so we can talk to these students.
Yeah.
We want to give you an opportunity for kind of a closing thought as an exclamation mark at the end of this podcast.
I'm glad that we can offer this to our schools, our districts, our students, our advisors, and we're staying the course, man. We are hoping to grow this program. My personal goal is to have a team here from every one of our districts.
Same,
Okay.
definitely. I love having one foot in the classroom door and one foot out, so this gives me that
Yeah,
opportunity.
that's the nice mix. That's what I miss the most is the kids. So
100%.
you created something to be back in the room. So that's
And I think
amazing.
this really pushes us too. Like every year, what are we doing new this
Definitely
year? Like,
keeps
what do
you
we got?
relevant. That's
It
the
does.
thing. Like, and the kids are always going to push us. So that's fabulous.
That's so true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great things to take away from this podcast, without a doubt. Pivoting and empowering students, empowering educators, empowering everyone, being aware, paying attention to detail. And I think the thing that we want to remind our billions of listeners is to model your passion for teaching and learning every single day.
Well, that was a good one. Subscribe.
Good work.